Hello, my queer little bookworms. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you've been having the most whimsical week ever. This video originally was supposed to be a actually themed reading vlog, but this is just a week of reading, just reading random genres, different genres, all varying. We have quite a reading vlog. I don't want this intro to be too long, so I hope you enjoy this video. So rude of me not to even introduce what book I'm starting this vlog off, but I'm currently reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I took the dust jacket off this book because it's annoying to read with it on. If you are not aware what this book is, it's very genre bending, but for the main two genres, I would say it would be a fantasy and also a little bit of a romance in there, because I know there's some romance in here. So, this book follows Addie LaRue. Who would have thought? She basically, a long time ago, she made a deal with a god, and she wanted them to do something for her. And they're like, okay, but in exchange, you have to live an immortal life. But whenever someone looks away from you or leaves the conversation that you were in, they forget you. They have no recollection of who you are. So, obviously, Addie falls into this deal, and there are a little bit more, things to it, but once you start reading, you'll eventually find out the really, the fine print or whatever. And it follows it follows also, the timeline. It's not in chronological order. It's we get one chapter in 2014, in the present day, and then we get one chapter throwing us back to the 1700s, which is when she was alive, when she was growing up. So yeah, we kind of follow that, and that's kind of all you can kind of say. We finally got into the meat and potatoes of this novel, and there is supposed to be a romance subplot. And, using my very, very amazing inferencing skills by reading the back of this book and it's saying, "I remember you," I'm like, hey, so that must be a quote from the novel. Hey, so if there's a quote from the novel like that, maybe someone actually ends up remembering her. Whoa, I know, your mind is blown right now. Groundbreaking information. But remember, that was all inference. If you've seen one of my last vlogs, I started this in that, and I didn't get far into it, but I'm on page 104 right now, and I have 400 out of 442 pages. So we have about 340 pages to go. That's a lot, because it's a little more lengthy than the past books I've been reading. Oh my god, guys, look at her. She's so beautiful. She is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Do I think I'm going to eat that much yogurt? No, but at the same time, majority of this is toppings. Actually, that's a lie. Anyway, I need to lock in and read. I just spent 5 hours working on my PowerPoint presentation for school, and I'm not even halfway done. Ew. I love my life so much. I tried to film this clip literally 60 times and it's not working. So I love it when this happens. Yay! If this doesn't turn out good, well, I'm just not going to do this. Anyway, I decided, let me check in with you because although those clips were literally filmed yesterday, the ones that you just saw, a lot has changed since yesterday. So, I'm currently in the middle of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'm a little over halfway. I have a little less than 200 pages left, and I'm still really enjoying this book. Something new was introduced that I'm invested, okay? And although I'm looking forward to picking this up, I have a short attention span and I need to read something at the same time, before I go to bed, so I'm not completely using my entire brain. I am so sorry for the background noise. I can hear it myself even louder, so that's why it's overstimulating me. But I'm also reading a book on my iPad, which I haven't read on my iPad since Christmas, and y'all, it feels so amazing. It feels so amazing being able to read on my side while laying down. But I'm currently reading One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune 2, and I'm actually enjoying it more than her other books that I've read, like Every Summer After and Meet Me at the Lake. And I actually have vlogs. I have a reading vlog with Every Summer After and my reading Destiny Sidwell's 5-star reads, which you should go watch.
I distinctly remember actually giving a synopsis to this book, but I don't know where it went, so here it is. Basically, Alice, when she was 17, she went to the summer house and she took a picture of these kids on a boat on a lake. And that's how she fell in love with photography. Now it's years later, and she's in her 30s, I think, and she goes back to the summer house with her grandma, and she meets Charlie, who happened to be the guy in the photo. Now, Charlie is the brother of the male main character in Every Summer After, so it's kind of like an interconnected duology thing going on there. Anyway, and because Alice is yo, I'm in my 30s, I'm aging, let me complete the summer bucket list, and Charlie ends up helping her with that. So, and obviously he's the love interest.
Hello. You might notice that this outfit is similar compared to the intro, and that is because I just finished filming my intro to this video. I know, a little confusing. I also looked a little chopped. I don't care that I look chopped, okay? Just appreciate that the effort was put into it by getting out of my comfort sweatshirt and my sweatpants and actually wearing something somewhat versatile. But it's now time for me to review every single book I read in this vlog. We're going to first start off with Yuri Is My Job, the first manga that I decided I wanted to read. And you didn't see many clips of me reading this book, and that is because I DNF'd it around the 40-page mark. I am honestly prioritizing this year quality over quantity, so I've let myself put down and DNF so many books, And I think that's perfectly fine. We need to start normalizing that. The reason I didn't really enjoy it, or it's not, I think I might pick it up in the future. It's just already when I'm reading a graphic novel, for some reason something doesn't click in my brain. Like although I am a visual learner, the speech bubbles, sometimes they're on the same row. I'm so like, what speech bubble do I read before the first one? But especially this being a manga and is being read an opposite way, that even messed with me more. So this makes me sound so stupid or something, but just coming from someone that just reads usually just chapter books, this was just confusing to me. And the fact that it was black and white didn't really help, because colors is easier to see, and they have very, very detailed drawings in here, so I need some color. But you might enjoy this. Consider picking this up if you think you're gonna like it. I don't even want to try and like explain the synopsis of this book, because I don't think off the bat, like, I got so confused with the reasoning of this. It just didn't make sense, and it wasn't realistic, which, like Denise said, it's a book. Of course it's not realistic. Like, it's a novel. It's fiction. Sorry, I'm like blanking right now, but I like messed up like 50 different characters, and then I was like, how many characters are in the scene? Because then you would see random speech bubbles coming from like outer space. Just someone random said it. I'm like, what? So it just wasn't for me, which is funny because like I already took the second book from my library, but I just DNF'd it. I might come back to it in the future. And then I finished One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, and I think I'm going to end up rating this a 2.75. Listen, I think this and Every Summer After are competing for my favorite Carly Fortune book currently at the moment. I'm still yet to read This Summer Will Be Different. But if you're always like, Dennisa, why are you reading these books if you don't like them that much? That's a great question. And that is because I think they're very good filler. I mean, not filler. They are very good palate cleansers and books to read during the summer as just an atmospheric read. And that's why I don't think I'm really ever going to read a summer romance unless I'm really craving it. But other than like the summer, I don't think I'm going to read one, because I've noticed a pattern in these summer romance books that all of them kind of have the same premise, to me at least, unless you find like, hey, unless you like can recommend me a book that is a summer romance book that is not like, it feels somewhat unique, the story, then please comment that down below, because I really want to see one. But most of my summer romance books, like, they are just kind of just copy paste, and it's not in a bad way. It's just like I didn't enjoy them that much, and that's fine. I know a lot of people really enjoyed this book, and at the start I was like, wait, I can see it, and then I was like, okay, you know what, I think I'm trying too hard to like this. Like, I did enjoy it. 2.75 is a solid rating. It's like, I liked it. There's just things that were wrong with it that wasn't for me. For example, like, I feel like it felt too familiar. It just feels like it's so stereotypical, and it's so like every single other genre, like every single other romance book, summer romance book. And this has happened to me with a lot of summer romance books. So please recommend me if you have any that are slightly different that you think I will enjoy, but like my only book that I've ever rated 5 stars that is a romance book is Just for the Summer, which is a summer book, but it felt different to me. Probably at the time. Maybe I'm reading too many books that are similar. Anyway, I didn't really enjoy the book. It was all right. Like, there's still things that like you can enjoy from it, and you might consider picking it up, maybe. Okay, now moving on to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This took me 10 days to read, and it took me 10 days to read A Little Life, which is 800 pages. This is 440 pages. It's half of that. But I was really busy in those 10 days. But can I tell you that I would find any spare moment that I could read, I would read this book. I enjoyed it so much. Whew. I think I'm going to rate it 4 stars, somewhere in that area, maybe a little higher. I might move that rating a bit. I also finally put the dust jacket on, but you can't really see the writing, the text. This is what we're looking at for annotations. Like, I've got a good amount. Let me start off with the writing. V.E. Schwab has such an amazing way of writing descriptions. It's like I can feel myself in that place. I can imagine it perfectly in my mind, and this is coming from someone that sometimes has a hard time imagining things, okay? I genuinely enjoyed it so much, her writing. She writes in a very poetic and lyrical way, but not in a way where it's like it stands out, for example, like take you out of a scene, or she'll use like overly smart or like words that aren't used in the everyday. She never uses those, at least from what I've seen. She doesn't use them to where it will take you out of the scene. It perfectly flows well with the story and the context of the situation, and it doesn't feel like weird. Which, going into this, I was like, I feel like I might struggle with understanding the writing because, I don't know, sometimes to me, I think like that, and boy oh boy, you will not. If I didn't feel like that, you probably won't either. So, also, if you're getting into fantasy, this would be a great recommendation. It's not like fully fantasy. I'd say this is like with magic realism. But if you want to be like, it's a fantasy book. I just read a fantasy book, like how I want to consider it, then you should pick this up. It's like dabbling your toes into fantasy a little because there is obviously things like that in this book. Also, it's very rare for me to annotate. I mean, like, I underline when I find a good like quote that even if it was taken out of context, it's still hard hitting. Not only was that in this book, but also there were amazing descriptions or like writing that I really enjoyed by the author that I was like, I just have to underline this because this wouldn't do it justice. I want to go back and look at this writing and be like, yeah, V.E. Schwab, you're really good at this. You're really good at this. And that is what happened in this book. And genuinely, I love it when that happens. That's signs that I really like this author's writing. And I'm definitely going to try more of V.E. Schwab's books. Although I'm kind of scared because I'm a little iffy on fantasy. I really liked that it had short chapters. And this is definitely like if you're in a reading slump-ish. Actually, if you're just looking for a book with short chapters, this is the one. I really like that so sometimes I would get so caught up and just being like one more chapter. I didn't even pay attention to the page numbers, which never happens, by the way. I always pay attention to the page numbers. I'm like, how many pages do I have left of this book? Did you just see that catch? It was so smooth. But I found myself in that state where I would just be like one more chapter, to the point where like I would look, when I first started reading, it was like sunny outside. It was like 4 o'clock. Next thing I know, I look up, it's completely pitch dark and it's 6 o'clock. Where the 2 hours go, I don't know, but I made a dent into the book and I was really enjoying my time reading it. Yeah, also, the characters felt very real. And sometimes in the book, I was like, V.E. Schwab, how is this book gonna end? Because if this is how it's going, how is it going to end? Is she gonna like pull out some sort of like something to make something tragic happen just to make me cry? What's gonna go on here? And I was surprised. I feel like I was pleasantly surprised with the ending. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed it. It felt fitting because I felt if she had any other ending, then it wouldn't have been as long as it is, and it probably would have been very boring at a certain point. I really, really, really loved and connected with the character Henry in this novel. If you have a feeling of running out of time and a constant anxiety and fear of that, you have to pick this book up. Because you will connect with Henry. I felt truly so deeply connected to him. I felt like we were one person. And I felt seen also with Addie LaRue. it's just all the characters, like, I feel like you could pick it up and you would still relate in some way, shape, or form with the characters, even though there aren't that many. There's also like a little mystery aspect to it, and I enjoyed it. It was very genre bending, romance, fantasy. It was also it's kind of like literary fiction because there's great character development in this, by the way. Great character development, which is, I look for that a lot in a book. I also really enjoyed the POVs and the way that was done. Like, this book is written in third person, but don't let that fool you. It's V. Schwab executed the third person so well. If you're iffy on the third person and you love first person, well then you might need to pick this up because it was done perfectly, especially because there were so many different like little time changes and POVs sometimes. I loved the other POV that she introduced in the book. I genuinely found that more interesting than the main POV, which, is that kind of crazy for me to say? Yeah, kind of, because yeah. But hey, I said it. There we go. Why do I act like this, bro? Literally, I need to stop. I genuinely need to stop. Moral of the story is, you should go pick this up. This was definitely a success. I might rate this a little higher. The only thing that didn't really stick with me, well, the only thing that really didn't bump it up, crank it to a higher level, is because it got me like a good 100 pages to finally get like really invested and really into it. And when you hit that 100 page mark, then it starts like picking up, which I feel like maybe just recently I've been reading books where they get straight into the meat and potatoes. Like, well, a lot of the books that I've been recently reading, like One Golden Summer, it's straight into the plot. So maybe that's the reason why I was like, why is it taking so long to get into this? But that was probably definitely like my fault, because I was also, at that point, I picked this book up probably when I was like craving a mystery, and then I picked this book up. But this isn't a mystery. This isn't something that's like, I won't say keep you on the edge of your seat, because it does, kind of. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, it took me a little while to get into it, just 100 pages, which isn't that much. But nevertheless, I enjoyed it. I think this story is going to stick with me for a while, and I will look back on my annotations. I genuinely will probably think of these characters. I might bump it up. I see myself rereading this in the future and enjoying it even more. I feel like this is the type of book where you're going to keep rereading it, and you're just going to love it even more, and you're just going to, oh my goodness. But yes, that was all of our books that we read in this vlog. I don't know what this video is going to be. I don't know how it's going to look like, but I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what other videos you want to see. I hope you have the most whimsical week ever, and if you're overstimulated or overwhelmed, go touch some grass or snow, and I'll be here when you get back.